Well, I was going to shoot this video outside, but 2 days in a row it's raining, so I'm going in. So last weekend in Inglewood, we started our last series before summer where we're considering this theme of change in our lives. And all week long, I've been mulling over something that Bobbi talked a little bit about. She talked about how sometimes we make change in our life and other times change makes us. And what she was talking about is how sometimes we make choices. We take a new job, or we move cross country, or maybe we do the internal work on our history and our story that we need to do. Sometimes it just means that we quit old habits and start new ones. But then in contrast to this, she was referencing how sometimes change is like an unwelcome guest in our life, where something happens to us or something happens in the world around us, something we didn't expect or plan for. And in the tension of all these things, one of the thoughts I've had is whether or not our idea of faith needs to shift a little bit from maybe this idea that in the face of change we need to be brave, or we need to be stubborn, or even just having this blind optimism, and instead toward this idea of simply having hope. And for some of you that might come off as a little bit of a cliche, and what I want to ask you to do today is just maybe hold that thought for a moment and consider the work of Jürgen Moltmann, who we talk a little bit about at Commons. He was this theologian who talked about our need for a theology of hope, this robust way of living in the world. And Moltmann thought that we could find the strength to form this kind of theology by looking first at the divine promises we see in the Hebrew Bible, and then secondly, looking at the Christian scriptures and how they call us to think of all things being made new in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, which is something that Bobbi asked us to think a little bit about. And then finally, Moltmann argued that we could find the strength to form a theology of hope by thinking of human history as the unfolding of God's imagination, and the fact that that imagination can be present and powerful for us right now, not someday in the future. And what I want to invite you to is to maybe today take a few quiet moments, or maybe over the weekend, to foster this kind of hope. Hope that you can change. Maybe because you can look back and you can see the ways that you've shifted over time, or maybe because you look around you at community or those friendships that hold you together and you can see the possibility that's there for you. Or maybe hope that the world can change. Maybe there's a cause that you've been exposed to recently. Maybe you're beginning to lend your voice, your resources, your affection to a group of people trying to make justice more present in the world. Or maybe it's just as simple as finding the quiet space in your own soul where you can begin to trust that change, the things that are happening to you, the forces that are swirling all around you, maybe even right now, that those things will not be the end of you, but maybe the fact that they're opening a doorway to a new future.